Walking is an incredible tool to help you tap into fat burning mechanisms and achieve your wellness goals, but there are some mistakes that I have seen a lot of people use that are making it so that you aren't able to achieve your wellness goal and you actually plateau or maybe even gain back the weight. So today I'm going to be sharing those 3 mistakes that I often see so that you can actually use walking in order to achieve your goals. All right guys, if you're new to my channel and you don't know who I am, my name's Autumn and I'm a certified clinical nutritionist with my master's in nutrition and human performance. On my channel, I'm typically talking about science-backed information on how you can feel amazing again, and part of that is using walking in order to achieve your goals. Now, about 4 or 5 months ago, I came out with a video, Walking is Better Than Running for Weight Loss, that gained a lot of popularity, and I really think the reason why is because intuitively, a lot of us have felt or seen or noticed that running wasn't achieving the same results anymore, or we weren't getting those same results that we used to with running. Now you can definitely check out that whole video, and I recommend you do if you haven't seen it yet, because it covers the science behind why walking is so great for fat loss. But after putting that video out, I know it did inspire a lot of you guys to start walking more. In fact, that's something that I really implement with a lot of my clients who are looking to tap into fat burning, is using walking as a tool. So in order to make sure that you can get the most out of walking and actually see those results, let's start off with the first tip. Now the first thing that I'm seeing is pretty cut and dry, very simple. You just aren't walking enough. Now, I used to be a really big fan of the step counters and Fitbits, but with the EMF exposure, it actually might be doing a little bit of harm, which I do talk about in a couple videos, but it is at least a good tool for you to use in the beginning to see how many steps you're actually getting. Now, if we're talking specifics on a number, like how many steps you really should be getting in a day, it just depends on what your goals are. And I know that's such an annoying answer, so I'm gonna give you an actual number. Very minimum, I recommend getting in 10K steps or 10,000 steps a day. Now, if you are starting out where you're only 2,000 steps a day or 1,000 steps per day, then making that jump to 10,000 steps may not make sense for you at this time. You can at least start to incrementally boost your goal. So maybe one week start off at 2,000 steps is your goal for that day. And then the next week you're at 4,000 steps, just incrementally bringing those steps up so that you can hit that minimum of 10,000 steps per day. And it doesn't seem like something daunting that you're just going to give up on after a day because it is such a big jump. Now, if you're already getting about 8,000 steps or even 10,000 steps, then you can even try to bump that up a little more. So in some places, for a lot of people, it's easier to get more of those steps in. For example, if you live in a city like New York where you're walking to your job, then it's going to be easier for you to get to that 15,000 step mark. Now, not that 15,000 steps is the magic number, but really with walking, the more the better. And what I've seen is that most people err on the side of walking less rather than walking more. First of all, make sure that you just know how many steps you're getting in. Sometimes we may think we're getting in a lot more steps than we really are. So just establishing that baseline so that you can work from there. Second is to make sure that you are challenging yourself each week. So if you have only a couple thousand steps that you're getting a day, make sure that you start to increase that every week, even if it's just by 500 steps for each week. As long as you're making progress that's going up, that's all we're looking for. If you already are at 8,000 to 10,000 steps per day, or 7,000 or 10,000, somewhere in that higher amount of steps range, try and push yourself to that 15,000 step mark. Really remember, with walking, you can't get too much. It's not like running where you can have too much running that can cause that increased cortisol level that'll actually work against your goals. So however you can find that you fit it into your day, maybe it's an after dinner walk that you go on with your family, or you fit in a 20-minute warm-up walk before your workout, or maybe just fit in a couple 10-minute walks throughout the day with coworkers or as a break so that you can just incrementally boost to that 15,000 steps. It's not that there's a magic number, but we just want to see more walking, especially where most of us are sitting all day. More walking will help this situation. That brings me to mistake number 2, and that's that even if you are getting that amount of steps, you're not spreading it throughout the day. So if you get all of your walking in the morning, or all of it at night, or whatever it may be, if you're just getting it all done at one time and then you're just sitting the rest of the day, whether it be at work or whatever else you're doing, that means that you're going a long period of time with inactivity and a long period of time of sitting. And the longer you sit, the more inflammation you're going to have. And as we know, inflammation is really tied with weight gain, or at least inability to lose weight. So getting in those 5 or 10-minute walks that you just scatter throughout the day as a little break to break up your day, that'll help to solve this problem. In fact, this is one thing where the Fitbit is fantastic for, because it does remind you every hour to get up and move if you haven't hit the required, I think, like 250 steps for that hour. So if you do use a Fitbit, that's an amazing feature, and it'll help to remind you to get up and even just get, like I mentioned, a 5-minute walk in, even if it's just around your office building. Okay, the last one, number 3, you're only walking on the treadmill. Now, I totally understand where if you live in a place where the weather doesn't allow for you to walk outside all the time, that the treadmill is at least the next best best option. However, if you are capable and if the weather allows for it to go walk outside, especially if you live by a park or some type of outside natural environment, then this will actually expose you to something called negative ions, which I do talk a lot about in that walking versus running video. And those negative ions have been found to help to reduce that serum cortisol level, and cortisol, the stress hormone, is what's going to cause your body to, gain more weight or hold on to weight specifically around your belly. So by only walking on the treadmill, you're missing out on that negative ion exposure that'll help to reduce your cortisol level. So if you can go outside and go on a walk outside, or even just be outside for a bit, studies are showing that it does need to be at least 15 minutes in order to receive those benefits, then that'll actually help it so that you're lowering your cortisol levels, which reduces the risk of gaining weight around your belly. Now, speaking of exercise, if you follow me and you use intermittent fasting, then I definitely recommend that you check out this video next on how to use intermittent fasting with working out as a beginner. Really segues nicely over to the weight loss techniques that we're talking about with walking. Also, if you love this science-backed information on how you can continue to feel amazing, make sure you subscribe right here. Come out with new videos every Tuesday and Thursday, so make sure to hit that notification bell as well. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video.